And we are very happy to have on the line right now Dr. Buzz Aldrin, of course, a legendary astronaut of the Apollo 11 fame, Gemini 12 also. He's the author of a new book called Mission to Mars, My Vision for Space Exploration. Dr. Buzz Aldrin, what a pleasure it is to have you on the show.
Well, it's very nice to be with you this morning. I'm in New York right now.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question about their book is called My Vision for Space Exploration. I'm getting the impression that your vision for space exploration is very different from the vision that NASA is currently following.
Well, I really don't think that's that true. We had a little bit of a modification in the president's human mission to an asteroid in 2025. I think personally that was misunderstood. It was not supposed to be visiting an asteroid for determining characteristics of the asteroid. It was meant to be a test of the interplanetary spacecraft at a greater distance away than the moon is. And because of the difficulties associated with human trying to do things with asteroids, it did not receive a lot of support. But it was misunderstood because it should have been testing a spacecraft so that the next step is to be able to take the spacecraft and asteroids and astronauts to the moon of Mars. Now, since the human mission to the asteroid by the president was a little misunderstood, people decided, well, why don't we pull this cute little trick of sending out a basket, a big basket, and putting it around a small rock.
And snag an asteroid,
really,
right.
And bring that back. Well, that's going to consume a lot of time and a lot of money, and I agree with many other people that it is a big distraction. We've had some miscues, really, ever since the Apollo program. The shuttle was not what it was supposed to be. There was another program that was canceled instead of the shuttle. So we rushed into the shuttle, which never did live up to its 40 or 50 missions a day. So I just think we need to revise things and clarify exactly what the U.S. would like to do at the moon, which is to lead the other nations who want to go there for prestige, but not send our astronauts down to the surface again. That's very expensive, and it would cost us leadership to China or Russia. We need to do the stepping stones of going further and further away with the right kind of spacecraft. We can do things by building a base for the internationals on the moon so that we know how to build the base on the surface of Mars before cycling orbits deposit people permanently on the surface of Mars between 2035 and 2040.
Dr. Buzz Aldrin is our guest, and Dr. Aldrin, thank you for joining us today. Now, I hear your vision, and I know that this is a big part of your book called Mission to Mars, My Vision for Space Exploration, but what do you say to the people who tell you, listen, I know you follow politics, Buzz Aldrin. We've got deficits, we've got huge debt, we've got so many problems here at home with the infrastructure of our nation, with bridges falling down, and problems here. Where are we going to find the money, and why should we spend the money to go build something on Mars when we can't even build things here in the United States?
40 years ago to 50 years ago, the United States led the world in space exploration for a number of reasons, many of them political, where people want to get reelected so they bring jobs back to their district. Can you imagine specifying that a rocket has to be built with heritage components? You know what that means? That's old stuff. That's not in keeping with a great country like America. We should be doing innovative things. Going back to the moon is not what a great nation does. It reaches out and explores further. We have the capability of doing that, and a president who makes such a commitment is going to go down in history for hundreds of thousands of years. And that commitment could very easily be made in the vicinity of the 2020 election. It's the re-election for the person who succeeds President Obama, and it's right in the middle of the 50th anniversary, anniversary of the first landing in 2019 and last landing in 2022.
Can I ask you a question, though, because there is a little bit of news today that we're going to have another one of these relatively close flybys of an asteroid. We saw what happened over in Russia when we didn't even see that asteroid coming. If there's one thing that could potentially have planetary implications, it would be that a major asteroid hits us, and we really don't have anything that would defend against that. Shouldn't we spend some of our money to figure that out?
We need much better tracking. We don't need visits to bring back small chunks of asteroids. That's not going to deflect anything. I've been to many planetary defense meetings, and what we need are evacuation, FEMA, and Homeland Security to take care of threats. We cannot right now, except with a nearby nuclear blast, deflect an asteroid that's going to hit the Earth. And we don't know how to do that. And sending humans to an asteroid or bringing an asteroid back does not help planetary defense.
Well, Buzz Aldrin, it has been a thrill for us to meet you, even if it's just over the phone. But here's the good news. All of you can meet Buzz Aldrin in person. He has a book signing this Saturday at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. Again, his book is Mission to Mars, My Vision for Space Exploration. And Buzz Aldrin, an absolute American hero and a real spaceman, he'll be there Saturday, June 1st, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Well, thank you, Dr. Aldrin. It was really our pleasure to have you on the program.
Yeah, I know these are short-term things, but we have to make the right decision so we're not distracting and spending money uselessly on things we don't really need for leadership in the world.
Dr. Buzz Aldrin,